Good morning. The three question close. Stop pitching and start persuading. So let's just dive right into it today. Your clients, they don't need to be pitched to. They need to be understood. They need to be led and they need to feel empowered. There are three core NEPQ stages: neuro emotional persuasion questioning. First stage is emotion, second is logic, and the third is timing. So, what if I told you that most agents lose their deal in the first 5 minutes? It's not because they're bad, but it's because they're addicted to pitching instead of persuading. And there is such a huge difference. So today I'm going to give you the antidote for that addiction. Um, it's called simply the three question close. Once you master it, you're never going to start chasing again. So here's the mission. This isn't about scripts. This is about asking questions that guide your clients to a decision on their terms with your leadership. So here's what I call Act One: the emotional reason why change. Um, People don't buy homes. They don't sell homes, and they don't make massive financial decisions just based on a spreadsheet. They move based on emotion, and then they use logic to justify it. That's the key. So here's the first question. I want you to write this down. Why even consider making a change now, Mr. Buyer Seller? Agents, they need to learn how to ask emotionally resonant questions, you know, like, can you walk me through what's prompting this move? What's changed in your life that's making you even think about selling? What are you hoping for in your next chapter? What does it feel like? Some key tactics that you need to use is you need to listen without solving. Use the tonality that reflects concern, not control. And mirror key emotional words back to them. Mr. Seller, you said you felt overwhelmed. You know, I remember this one seller I helped years ago, and who didn't need to move until they unpacked the emotional weight of caring for that big empty house that they had after the kids moved out. That deal, it didn't happen because I pitched comps to them. The deal happened because I understood her fear of being stuck. Act two is the logical clarity. Why stay stuck when you can move forward? So here's the truth: logic never starts the decision, it finishes it. Think about that. So here's the second question. Write this one down. Mr. Seller, what's the impact if nothing changes? Use any PQ logic based questions that illuminate and shine a light on that cost of inaction. Mr. Seller, what happens if 6 months go by and you're still here? What's the financial impact to you of waiting another year? And how would your life look different if you could solve this now? You need to frame that gap. Emotions, it gets them to dream. Logic brings them back to reality. if you can't show them and they cannot see the cost of doing nothing, the cost of inaction, then that's exactly what they'll do. They'll do nothing. And that's not on them, that's on you. Here's a quick tool you can use. You can paint two different paths. Path A, they're stuck. It's the status quo and the opportunities that are lost. And then path B is the momentum and the peace of mind and the progress. I remember working with this particular buyer. They kept watching the market until I helped them realize they were losing $20,000 in equity every quarter they sat on the sidelines. Once we made that invisible cost visible, the decision made itself. It was a no-brainer. Act 3, timing. Why not? If you've nailed the emotional and made the logic clear, then just the timing becomes a byproduct, not a roadblock. So here's that third question. Write this down. Mr. Seller, is there anything stopping you from taking action on this now? This is not a hard close. This is an invitation for them to self-reflect. You could ask them, what's your ideal timing for making this happen? Is there anything that would prevent us from moving forward together? Mr. Seller, are you feeling ready, or is there still something that's holding you back? Don't push. Pull them in. You're not trying to close them. You're trying to open them up. So handle uncertainty with clarity. We hear this a lot of times. I want to think about it. Hey, Mr. Seller, that is totally fair. Can I ask, what specifically are you wanting to think more about? That's persuasion. That's not pressure. So here's my advice to you. Stop pitching. Stop trying to impress and start being interested in them. The agents who master the 3-question close, they become the most trusted voices in their market. Emotional reason, logical clarity, and the timing aligned. If you master that flow, and your clients will thank you for helping them, do what they already wanted to do, but needed someone brave enough to ask them. So, 4th of July here. I wanted to wish everybody a happy 4th of July. But my final thoughts are today, keep this in mind. You don't need to push people to the finish line. You need to walk them through their own door of decision with empathy, with clarity, and with leadership. So the next time you talk to a prospect, today, tomorrow, whatever, don't ask yourself, what do I say? Ask yourself, what of the 3 questions are going to set them free? You enjoy the weekend, and peace out. Be safe, everybody.